right? So I will show you the various ways to practice. I mean, where you need to write the code to practice. So I'll show you. So here you can see your name. On your name you can see the developer console. Okay, so click on your developer console. A new window will be opened. Right, so if you see here in the debug, you can see open execute anonymous window. Okay, open execute anonymous window in debug. You can see open execute anonymous window. Click on it. Right, so you can practice your code here just for the practice purposes. Okay, so right, okay, so you can write your code, you can execute it, and you can see the output here itself. Okay, so you don't need to use any other tool like Eclipse or any other tool. Okay, if you wanted to practice Java, you need to use your Eclipse. Okay, but here you don't need to have any other integrated development environment. Okay, I will again show you the navigation. Right, go to your name and click on developer console. This will be opened in the new tab. Okay, so see here, if you go in the debug, you can see open execute anonymous window, or else you can use the shortcut control E. See, just press control E. See here, this is your anonymous window where you can practice and execute here itself and can see the output in the developer console. Okay, so as you are a beginner, better you practice here. Okay, so after that we can see some other environments where we can practice and all. Right, right, so today we will see how we can manage data from the backend. I mean, how you can insert data, how you can update data, how you can delete and all. So you can do all data operations from the backend. So for that only we are using the development concepts. Okay, so nothing to worry about the development. There is nothing hard in this. Very easy. If you start working on it, you feel it very easy. Okay, so otherwise it will be tough. Right, so what I do is I will explain you some of the data types today. Okay, before going for direct development and doing some operations. So I guess you are somewhat aware of different kinds of data types, because while creating the fields we have seen different types of data types, right? Number, text, pick list and all. So those are all different ones, but anyway we'll be using somewhat different ones in the coding. Okay, so what are the different data types we have? In Salesforce terminology, you can say we have primitive data types and S-object data types. Okay, so what are the primitive data types? What are the primitive data types? Integer, string, double, long, decimal. Okay, so these are all the some of the primitive data types, and we have so many. Like we have character and boolean and byte. We have id. Okay, so these are all the some of the basic data types, right? So integer, we use it for declaring integer values. So if you wanted to declare a variable of type integer, then you have to use integer and you have to write the variable name. Okay, so how much memory it holds? It holds 4 bytes of memory. Integer holds 4 bytes of memory, and long, it is holding 8 bytes of memory. Okay, so double means it is also a numerical value. So if you have any decimal places, then you can use double. Okay, so if you have any decimal places, then you can use the data type double, right? And decimal. Okay, so this is also the same, but here it can hold maximum of 2 digits after the decimal point, but in case of double, it is not the scenario. So double can have more than 2 digits after your decimal point. Okay, so that is the difference between double and decimal. Decimal is used to have maximum of 2 digits after the decimal point, whereas double is used to have more than 2 digits after the decimal point. Okay, so are you clear? Right. Next, what are the other things we have? Character. Character is holding one character. Okay, so you can define char A, char B, something like that, right? And boolean. Okay, so boolean is something called a true or false. If you, so it returns either true or false. Okay, right. And byte. Byte means 0 or 1 to store the value 0 or 1. Okay, next ID. So in case of Salesforce terminology, ID is a 18 digit character. Okay, if you are dealing with the record IDs, then you have to use the data type ID. So if you go to your Salesforce account, see, let's close this window. Right. So if you go to any account, let's go to one of the account records, click on any account record. See here, you got some ID. Okay, so this ID is, now we are seeing a 15 digit character, 15 digit ID, but actually if you get the ID from the backend, if you write a code to get the ID in the backend, then you are going to get a 18 digit ID. Okay, only from the front end you can see 15 digit ID. When you are doing the process in the backend, then the ID is of 18 digit characters. Okay, so we have done some data loading operations yesterday, right? So in that you can see, in that you will be getting ID of 18 digit character. Let me show you this example. Go to your workbench. Right, see here, this is 18 digit character. Okay, so this is 18 digit. If you see the same from the front end, see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, this is a 15 digit character. Only from the back end you are going to get the 18 digit character. Okay, so the people who are having the permissions to use the developer console, they can have it. Mostly we don't give that access to the users. Okay, only admin can have that access. Okay, so next, string. String is nothing but if you wanted to include special character, it also accepts digits and alphabets, right? Okay, so if you wanted to have any collection of characters including special characters like dot, forward slash, backward slash, dollar symbol, so all the symbols, all the special characters can be included in a string, right? So these are all the different data types. Okay, integer, string, double, long, decimal, char, boolean, byte and id, right? So what is the difference between primitive data types and subject data type? Okay, so subject data types means subject means all the Salesforce object, all the Salesforce object. It includes both custom and standard objects. Okay, so we can use them as the subject data types. Okay, so if you are doing some operation with the account, you can declare a variable account ACC. Account ACC. You can declare a variable something like this. So this ACC is holding the information of this account record. Okay, so basically how you declare your string name. So name is the variable of data type string. Okay, so in the same way ACC is the variable of type account. This is a subject data type. Okay, so in the same way you can use any other object, either a custom or a standard object. Okay, if that is a contact object, you can use the variable, you can initialize the variable of type contact to something like this. You can give any name, contact con, you can give contact cont, you can give. Okay, so contact something, you can give your own name. So we have opportunity also. So if you wanted to define a variable of type opportunity, you can define something like this, opportunity OPP. Okay, so this is how you can declare your subject data types, right? So how you can declare your primitive integer x comma y comma z, right? So in the same way, these are all the subject data types. Okay, right. So what are the ways to do Apex programming? So in Salesforce, we will be using Apex. Okay, so Apex is not a case sensitive language, but Java is a case sensitive language. The advantage of using Apex is it is not case sensitive. Okay, so Java is a case sensitive language. Okay, so it is purely an object oriented programming language. We need to know the specifications of Apex language. So Apex is not a case sensitive language and it is purely a object oriented programming language. Okay, and it is a tightly coupled programming language. What is a tightly coupled programming language? What is a tightly coupled programming language? Okay, so tightly coupled programming language means you need to define your variable first before you are going to use it. If you are going to use this variable x in your program, you need to define the variable first, and after that only you need to use that variable. Okay, so that is tightly coupled programming language, right? And each statement in Apex programming must be ended with a semicolon. Whatever the program you are writing, if you are ending your statement here, you need to end it with a semicolon. Okay, so this is a semicolon, right? So otherwise you will get some error. Okay, so and we are going to compile the code using Apex compiler. Okay, and each and every Apex class will be storing in the force.com platform. So we have discussed about the force.com platform. So cloud computing features. What are the features of cloud computing? Software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. These are the three services provided by the cloud computing. So what is the platform here? We are using force.com as a platform to customize our application. Okay. So what is software? Login.salesforce.com. And what is infrastructure? Everything provided by the Salesforce, like database, servers, and all. Okay. Right. And so why we write Apex classes? If you wanted to implement any custom business logic, you can write your logic in a class. Okay. So using Apex, we can perform all the DML operations. What is DML? Data manipulations. You can do all the data manipulations, like whatever you are doing from your front end, like deleting, inserting, updating. Okay. So all these operations can be done by using Apex. Okay. So Apex is also providing a query language. We have a query language. It is nothing but SOQL. So SOQL is nothing but Salesforce Object Query Language. Salesforce Object Query Language. While discussing the concept of data loader, we have seen what a query is. Just we have seen how a basic query looks, right? And today also in the beginning we have seen a query. Okay, and it is also providing SOSL. What is SOSL? Salesforce Object Search Language. Okay, so we have two types of queries here, SOQL and SOSL, to retrieve the records. Okay, so and Apex programming is based on MVC architecture. So what is the architecture we are using here? MVC architecture. MVC stands for Model View Controller. Okay, so Model View Controller. So we are going to see what is MVC in the later classes, but for now these are some of the basics of Apex program. So shall we recall everything whatever we discussed? Just we will recall one by one. First one, Apex is purely based on object oriented programming language. So I will type everything so that it is very easy for you to understand. So if you wanted to have a running notes, you can, or else I'll be sharing this tutorial, nothing to worry. So Apex is purely based on object oriented programming language. And the next one, it is not a case sensitive. It is not a case sensitive programming. Right. Next one, it is a tightly coupled programming language. Right. And what next? Each statement in the Apex programming should be ended with a semicolon. Okay, this is the semicolon. Right. Next. So each statement in Apex will be compiled by Apex compiler. And next. Or next? Any idea? Right. So query language. Apex programming is providing a query language called SOQL. And we also have a search language. What is the search language? It is also providing a search language, SOS. Okay, right. And Apex programming supports MVC architecture. Okay, so these are all the some of the features of the Apex programming. Okay, so you can write your business logic in the classes. Okay, so yeah, next we have seen the data types. Okay, any doubts for you here? You can stop me at any time if you have any doubts. Okay, right. So yeah, now we will see the standard navigation for writing your program. So we have different kinds of ways to write your program. Okay, the best way for you to practice is to use developer console. Okay, so otherwise if you wanted to do your programming, you have the standard navigation. So let me tell you the types. Okay, so first one, you can use a standard navigation. I show you the standard navigation. And the second one is you can write your code in the developer console. Right, and you can also use execute anonymous window. Okay, and you can use Eclipse IDE. Okay, so these are the different ways to do your programming. Okay, so what is the standard navigation? Let me show you the standard navigation. Go to setup, customize, or else just go here and type classes. In the develop, you can see in the develop Apex classes, if you click on this, right, so these are all the different classes. Okay, if you click on new, see here, you can write your program here. Okay, so public class and define your class name. So, and you can start your programming here. Okay, declare some variables, integer x, string y. Okay, so something like that, you can start doing your programming here. Okay, right, this is the what you wanted me start from the beginning. Total class from the beginning or just this classes? Okay, so right, so click on setup. You can type classes here or else go down and see in the develop there is a option to create classes. So if you click on this classes, you will be navigated to this screen. So if in your organization there may be no classes, but here there are some classes. Okay, because I have created, I have written some classes here. Okay, so if you wanted to create a new class, then click on new, then it will be taking you to this screen, so you can write your code here. Okay, right, so this is one way of doing your programming. Next one that we have already seen, if you go to your name, you can see the developer console. Okay, so this is your developer console. If you go to the file, then you can see new Apex class, trigger page, so all these things. So if you click on Apex class, it will be asking you for the name. Okay, see, the class syntax is ready for you. So what you need to do is you need to write your business logic inside your class. And what is the other way? Go to debug and you can see open execute anonymous window. Click on it, then you will come to here. You can write your coding here, you can execute here. Okay, and what is the other way? Eclipse IDE. So Eclipse IDE, I will show you how to install Eclipse IDE. Before that, you try to install Java in your machine. Okay, after that we have to install Eclipse. Without Java, you cannot install your Eclipse. Okay, so Eclipse IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. There you can do your classes, your triggers, and whatever the development you wanted to do, you can do. And you can move that code to Salesforce. Okay, right. So we will see the concept of Eclipse in the later sessions. Okay, so first, if you want to have Eclipse in your laptop, install Java in your machine. Okay, so that we can install Eclipse after that. Right. So these are the different ways of writing your program in Salesforce. Right. So next. So in Eclipse, in execute anonymous window, you have different options here. Execute and execute highlighted. So if you click on execute, the total code will be executed. If you don't want the total code to be executed, then you can highlight some of the lines. Okay. You can highlight some of the lines and you can click on execute highlighted, so that only the highlighted lines will be executed. Okay, so any doubt? Right. Next, so how you are going to declare your variable? You are going to define the variable with the data type, and before this data type you need to specify your access modifier, right? Access specifier. Okay, public, private, global, there are different types of access modifiers, so you need to specify that also, right? Okay, next we'll see some of the operators. Okay, so try to practice with these things. Okay, so actually I explained very little, but okay, so try to get all these things, then we'll see some more in tomorrow's session. Okay, so these are very basics, but you need to have these basics. So okay, yeah, no worries.